People always warn you about abandoned places, dark alleys, and lonely roads. No one warns you about basements, because basements don't chase you. They don't scream. They don't run. They wait. And sometimes, they learn you. What you're about to hear is not a legend or an internet story. It's something that happened to me, something that still follows me no matter where I live. In 2018, I rented a small house in a quiet town, the kind of town where nights are silent and neighbors know each other by name. I had just started a new job and needed something cheap and close. The rent was surprisingly low. When I asked the landlord why, he smiled and said, "Old house. People don't stay long." At the time, that didn't bother me. People leave houses for all kinds of reasons. The house itself looked harmless. 2 bedrooms, a small kitchen, creaky wooden floors, and a narrow hallway that ended at a single door. It was painted white, but the paint had cracked and peeled over time. Even during the day, it looked darker than the rest of the hallway. That first night, I couldn't sleep. The house wasn't loud, but it wasn't quiet either. It felt like it was breathing. Soft pops, distant creaks, subtle movements that never fully stopped. Still, I convinced myself I was just nervous. Exactly 1 week later, I woke up at 2:17 a.m. I didn't wake up naturally. I woke up because I heard something. Knock. It came from beneath the floor. I held my breath. Knock. Knock. 3 knocks, slow, evenly spaced. It wasn't the sound of pipes or wood expanding. It was too precise. I sat up in bed, heart pounding, listening for more. Nothing came. The silence that followed was worse. The next morning, I laughed it off. Old houses make strange noises. Everyone knows that. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. Going downstairs. Later that day, curiosity got the better of me. I opened the basement door. Cold air rushed up the stairs, carrying the smell of damp concrete and earth. The staircase was narrow, the steps uneven. At the bottom, a single bulb flickered weakly. The basement was unfinished. Bare walls, exposed beams, shelves lined with old junk left behind by previous tenants. As I turned to go back upstairs, something caught my eye. Footprints. Bare footprints in the dust. They weren't mine. They led from the stairs to the far corner of the basement and stopped. No return prints, just stopped. For the next 2 weeks, nothing happened. No knocks, no sounds. I started to relax. Then one evening, while organizing boxes, I moved a shelf and found something I hadn't seen before. A door. Small, narrow, almost hidden behind the wall. It had no handle, only a lock. I stared at it for a long time before going back upstairs. That night, I asked the landlord about it. His expression changed instantly. "That door isn't important," he said. "It leads nowhere. Don't open it." I wanted to ask more, but something in his voice told me not to. That night, the knocking returned. Not from the floor, from inside the walls. I woke up to whispering, clear whispering, not distant, not imagined, right outside my bedroom. "I know you're awake." My body went cold. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. "I used to sleep in that room too," the voice said softly. It was calm, almost friendly. "I hated the basement at first." The whisper faded into silence. I didn't sleep again that night. The next morning, I went back into the basement. In the far corner, where the footprints had ended weeks ago, something new sat on the floor. A cassette recorder, old, dusty, unplugged. A piece of tape was stuck to it with writing in faded ink. For the one upstairs. My hands shook as I pressed play. Static filled the room, then breathing, then a voice. My voice. It was me talking on the phone, whispering to myself, pacing the living room late at night. Every word was perfect. At the end of the tape, another voice spoke. You hear us now. That day, I went to the town records office. The woman behind the desk grew quiet when I gave her the address. That house, she said slowly. You should leave. The record showed decades of tenants. Most stayed less than 6 months. Some left in the middle of the night. A few were never found. One name appeared repeatedly. Daniel Moore. He lived in the house in the early 1980s. According to police reports, Daniel became obsessed with the basement. Neighbors reported hearing voices, knocking, and recordings playing at night. One day, Daniel locked himself inside the basement. When police broke in days later, they found no body, only cassette tapes. I planned to leave the next morning. I didn't make it that far. At 3 a.m., I heard the basement door open. The light came on. Footsteps echoed on the stairs, slow, heavy. I stayed too long, a voice said from below. It sounded exactly like me. The house learned me. Something began climbing. I ran. I left everything behind. I never returned. The landlord disappeared. The house was rented again within a month. Sometimes, late at night, I still hear it. 3 slow knocks from below, even though there is no basement where I live now. If you ever move into a house where the basement door feels wrong, trust that feeling, because some basements don't go underground. They go deeper, and once they learn you, they never let go.